Hello Internet, Jason Gomes again, making another follow-up video. I made a video earlier this week about the Age of Enlightenment, and I just wanted to clarify a little bit about what that means and some of the various paths of enlightenment, because there's not just one, and then we'll get over that. So this right here is a little piece of technology called a Tesla coil, if you want to look it up. Fascinating stuff. But essentially this is creating an expanding and collapsing electromagnetic field, which you can't see until you get something that is gaseous. So this fluorescent bulb, as you can see, starts illuminating wirelessly as it gets in the presence of this Tesla coil. And essentially that's being caused by an increase in the vibrational state of the atoms within this gaseous light bulb. And the same thing happens to our sun, which is a ball of gas, as it travels around our galaxy. So at the center of our galaxy, the active galactic nuclei, or what you could call a black hole, emanates, it resonates. As it was disclosed earlier last year, black holes pulsate electromagnetic vibrations, and essentially that's why atoms never stop spinning. They don't even slow down because they can't. So as we get closer to our black hole at the center of our galaxy, we experience an elevated state of consciousness, just like there is a varying stages of life that happen within the 4 seasons of our planet as our planet encircles behind the sun. Same thing is happening for our sun, the heliosphere, as it circles the galaxy. So as that happens, human consciousness elevates. Now, at any point in time during this galactic cycle, individuals, through practice and dedication, can, of course, experience enlightenment. There's been lots of enlightened and ascended masters throughout the lineage of humanity. But this is a special time because just like in spring, it's when all of these things happen all at once. So everybody gets to experience this because it's not necessarily an individual deterministic decision. It's actually just the state of the environment. So it's very exciting. There's a lot more radiant energy. So just imagine that the thermostat of compassion is being turned up, and that the paths to enlightenment are becoming more available to more people. So what we're used to dealing with is the all-seeing eye. Well, to be honest, they don't see as much as they would like you to believe that they do, because they're actually a 2-dimensional representation of something that is 3-dimensional. So there's actually 4 paths to enlightenment. There is the paths that we're aware of, which is action and intelligence. Action is karmic yoga, the ability to participate gracefully within creation in order to effectively make changes towards the higher state of good, or the highest state of harmony of all beings. There is intelligence, which is the ability to observe the environment as it is, to understand the universe as it is, to see the patterns like in Fibonacci and Phi, and the electromagnetic field energies that allow us to mathematically calculate the patterns of the universe. But there's also, opposing those, devotion and transformation. Now, the reason why we only know about the 2 and why we're in this 2-dimensional phase is because essentially intelligence, not a fan of devotion, because devotion just means love without understanding, or what we would normally associate with blind faith, someone who feels strongly and just takes action without fully understanding why or how things will work out, and they have faith that they will. Now, people of intelligence don't like behaving this way because it's not really what they feel comfortable with. It's kind of against their grain to take action without understanding. And then, of course, the people of action are opposing natural transformation. So the idea is transformation happens regardless of whether or not we do anything. Every moment of every day, the universe is continuously transforming as these cycles within cycles continue to evolve. Things naturally transform. Even if you just sit and do nothing, existence, nature is working towards harmony with or without your assistance. So by doing nothing, we can actually just wait for something to happen, but that's really against the grain of the people who are action-oriented, that want to take action to do something to affect change. They want to be a part of the change. They don't want to simply see it happen. And so now we're coming into the age of enlightenment, where all four paths of enlightenment are more available. And I'm just going to describe those to you real briefly. So intelligence, like I said, Phi and Fibonacci in nature describe all patterns of creation from the atomic through the universal and beyond, because it is a repeating cycle, just like music goes from E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E again. The universe goes from atoms to DNA to cells to bodies to planetary bodies to solar systems to galaxies to universes. But universes are really just like atoms. It's just a repeating octave, just like our musical scales. Which brings us into the next state of transformation, which is essentially the key to transformation is music. Music is the most effective means of transforming the human energy system rapidly. Of course, meditation and allowing the body to reassemble itself in a state of harmony is also integral. So prayer, meditation, and music are definitely the key and cornerstones to transformation. Karmic yoga, which is essentially mirroring the body to the mind instead of mirroring the mind to the body. So it's when you create a unity between your mind and body where your body is a manifestation of your consciousness, so that you can manifest your body in action down to how you're perceived and how you behave. So it is a perfect mirror of the mind. That is karmic yoga, which is meaning unity. And then your last form of enlightenment is devotion. Now, the strongest path for devotion is, of course, love and compassion, along with husbandry. Husbandry meaning the love, care, and cultivation of plants, animals, and the environment. I'm not sure how husband got so far removed from the term husbandry, but husbandry is definitely one of the cornerstones of your devotion. So what they've discovered at the Heart Math Institute is that your heart, in a state of gratitude and appreciation, actually creates a more rounded impulse, meaning that the electromagnetic pulse that's creating your heartbeat becomes a sine wave. Now, the thing about sine waves is that if you reflect them between 2 points, a perfect sine wave will create perfect compression, which is by definition phi, which is the guiding principle between all dimensions of creation that allow these patterns to be recurrent and predictable. So when you're talking about enlightenment, there are actually tools for enlightenment which have essentially been either forgotten or concealed, and perhaps a little bit of both. But what I'll include in this video, if you look at the description, will be music which will help you establish a state of presence, an emotional presence, as well as Kriya Yoga, which is a breathing practice for resetting the emotional state, because your breath and your heart are directly connected. I'll also include some of the other yoga practices which allow you to create a mirror between your body and your mind and allow you to improve the state of integrity that your mind has over your body. And then I'll also include nature by numbers, as well as some other empirical evidence that shows these patterns in nature, so that you can start intellectually processing that these are all patterns in every single dimension, and that's why they are relevant. That's why they are the foundation of intelligence. And of course, husbandry is maintaining consciously your state of love, intentionally seeking gratitude, intentionally seeking a state of appreciation and compassion. So by focusing on those things, that's how you cultivate that energy within you. And of course, when you share that with other people or with the environment, whether it's a cat or a dog or a flower, is how that type of enlightenment is cultivated. So I'll include links for that, but I just wanted to go into a little bit more detail as far as specifically what are these types of enlightenment. So those are the 4 pillars of enlightenment right there. So you got 4 corners all reaching towards the same goal, which is enlightenment. And right now we're experiencing a little bit of trouble because the people who have considered themselves to be more intelligent or more action-oriented, in other words, they're more capable of taking action, have decided by their own choice to elevate themselves above the people who are in a state of devotion or waiting for transformation from the environment itself. And that has a lot to do, like I said, with the going against the grain of their mentality or their way of perceiving reality. And so it's just like if you had a 4-wheeled car and you went up on 2 wheels. If you just go up on 2 wheels and you go back down, it's not really a big deal. But if you try to drive on 2 wheels and keep 2 wheels in a constant state of elevation, which is essentially what's happening, not only are you going to destroy the engine because there's going to be an imbalance in the fuel, there's going to be an imbalance in all the fluids in the engine, and all of the energy that's going through the engine is going to be out of balance. You're also going to be wearing out half of the car rapidly, while the other half of the car essentially goes untouched, unused. And so that's essentially what's happening, is that we're all functioning inside of an economy where half of our forms of enlightenment are essentially elevated above the other 2 forms of enlightenment, and that's causing a lot of wear and tear on the environment as well as people. So as we come back into a state of balance, and the people who are acting from a higher state of intelligence begin transferring their intelligence towards transformation, and the people that are acting with the state of karmic yoga, who are taking action, begin acting more in balance with the state of devotion, which is love, compassion, generosity, we are going to experience a far more readily balanced world. And as these energies happen to be in a rising sequence right now, it's a very exciting time to be here on the planet Earth, and it is literally the most exciting transformation that is possible to experience. It is more profound than the transformation of winter to spring. And of course, this information within the Western culture is not really readily available because these greater cycles around our galaxy take about 25,962 years. So if you were to relate that in terms of a year, it would mean like 1 day of the Yugas, which is the greater year, would be approximately 72 years. So essentially, any person that you've ever met has only lived for 1 day out of a 365-day cycle. That means that generations back, they've never even experienced anything like spring. Every generation of human consciousness, which we have readily available and access to within the historical records of the collective consciousness, has been existing in this winter time. So they're not really prepared to understand what to expect, but essentially it's where all consciousness and life in general becomes far more cohesively and harmoniously intertwined, because we're already entangled from the atomic to the genetic to the cellular to the planetary to the solar system to the galaxy to the universe. It's already a unified field theory. It's simply a raising of awareness of this form of unified consciousness, which is why it's so exciting, because everybody gets to participate, and there's no one right way to do it. There's going to be a multitude of avenues for people to participate. So check out the description of the video for additional videos that relate to these individual forms of enlightenment, so that you can start dabbling and figure out which one fascinates you the most. Because when you find out which one fascinates you, just start doing it, and you're going to find that you're going to become enlightened. Your heart will feel engaged, and you will feel more vibrantly alive. Your mind will become clear, and your goals will sort of align themselves with your energy state. So happy enlightenment to all, and I hope you enjoyed this video. and welcome to the Age of Enlightenment.